We're in for today's roundup. It is Wednesday, the what of July?
13th?
13th.
I'm quite surprised I pulled out of the bag, but I did. So
I don't do this quite often, so I'm a little bit lost. So yeah, I've robbed Ben in for the daily video because of things. So we're just going to run through what's been going on so far.
Yeah.
It's that time of year where agents start messing around with, on clubs, transfers. Benteke to Crystal Palace looks like it could be off. Or is it just simply a case of pounds, shillings, and pence?
Yeah, I think it will happen. I think when you get in a position like this, you know that Palace know Liverpool need to get rid of him, and so it's just a waiting game for them to try and get the fee down. So I think we're talking about £30 million fee. Benteke's keen to go. Personal terms pretty much agree. So it's just about getting that number right. And Palace know the longer they wait, maybe the lower that will get. So,
unless someone else comes in.
Potentially. I think if Liverpool can get anywhere near 30, they've done well. I mean, he's still young. Clearly, he needs to play in the right kind of team. And I'm convinced he'll score goals. But, I think that will get done. But it's just a matter of time.
You don't cough on a £32 million deal over the sake of £2 million deal.
No, probably not. But I think it's just a case of...
Where does the power lie with it? Who's got the power here?
Well, Palace think they have, because West Ham haven't come in perhaps as strongly as we thought they might. They think they're the only horse in town, so they can afford to wait. It's about who blinks first, isn't it? The Liverpool blink and lower that fee, or the Palace blink and pay the money. That's simple as that. That's the game we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, it even comes down to how much. I mean, it did occur to me the players are on so much wages now at the top end anyway. By the time if this rumbles on for 5 weeks, that's £1 million off the fee anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So just get it. You think.
But then you balance that against how early do you want him in for pre-season and working with the other guys, because he's a specific type of player, and you need to learn how to play to his strengths.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Liverpool, say it was 28 million a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now it's what? And Liverpool wanted 32. Liverpool have probably spent £1 million in wages on him in that period anyway. Palace have lost anyway.
Yeah.
Talking of transfers.
Yeah.
Martin Skrtel in Turkey completed his move to Fenerbahce.
Yeah, so he's done his medical, completed his medical. It's the right time for him to move on. I think it'll be a shame if Liverpool fans remember him for last season.
It's been a shame, hasn't it? I mean, he's never really been. He's been here for 7 seasons now, and he was never really popular. But you don't play centre half for Liverpool for 7 seasons if you.
And barring the back end of last season, most people thought he was pretty terrific for most of that time, and I don't think he'll be remembered, like Sammy Huppi is remembered. I don't think he's anywhere near that kind of level, but I think he, always gave his best, cared about the club, and wish him well. I think,
and
I'm sure he'll do
31,
well.
It's a nice little gig over there, nice little slow down, and they'd be on good money there. They pay the players good money over there.
Yeah, they do, and it's Fenerbahce is a club that has that kind of same passionate support. He'll do well there. I'm convinced of that. Just lost that little bit of pace, which made all the difference last season. But great servant for the club. Wish him well.
And they like the wrestling in Turkey as well, don't
He's good at that, isn't he?
He's good.
As long as you've got a 9 or a 10 on your back.
Well, yeah. A couple of other transfers outside of Liverpool. Kante.
Yeah. Chelsea.
Looks like he's going to Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea have been in front from the off there. And I think, they see him as the kind of player they haven't had for a long time and perhaps need. Matic, I know, is there, but...
Well, I've written Matic on there because I know he's had a poor season.
Yeah.
A massively poor season by his standards, but he strikes me as someone who... I like... He's tall. What does Jürgen like in a midfielder?
Yeah, I know.
Tall, can win the ball out, can pass it, doesn't have to be particular... He looks... If Liverpool were looking for a defensive midfielder with height in the Premier League, and I hate the whole Premier League proven thing, who might be available... I mean, do you think Matic might not be available?
It's so tricky to say. I mean, I think, they've got to think about...
And if he was, would you have...
Would I take him at Liverpool? Absolutely. I think he'd be brilliant. In the same way that Didi, Herman came in and did that kind of a job so well. I don't think Liverpool have got that kind of player right now with that kind of physicality. I think they lack that.
What about Loftus-Cheek then? It's funny you mention him because I like him.
Yeah.
And he's a big boy as well, isn't he? And they can't do. So they've got 3 players.
That's what I mean. So they're going to have to think about that. And if they're really going to be, true to their word and say we're going to move players on so we make room for the younger players, then they're going to have to think about that there.
Would you take Loftus-Cheek?
Yeah, I would do. Yeah. I've seen him play a fair bit, and but no indication that Liverpool are interested. They're certainly keen on a couple more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny one. I mean, there's loads of really tenuous links that we're not going to bother you with. I mean, there's links to Blakowski. How you pronounce it? Sounds like an aged New York cop.
Blazikowski, yeah.
Yes.
Kuba, let's call him Kuba.
Kuba,
That's
let's
his
call him
nickname,
Kuba,
right?
yeah. I was trying to do the show pick. But no, I had a look at him. I mean, obviously a name that pops up, but he's had the good Euros, but then so did Phil Babb, had the good World Cup. A long time ago. 31 now, maybe a little bit too old.
I got Babb falling in the back of a shirt after that World Cup.
Did you?
No.
It's alright, I had scales. It's alright.
Okay, fair enough.
when the alternative was Ruddock.
Yeah, true.
You know.
Yeah, true.
Shea. Good showing last night for the England under 19s.
Under 19, I really like
under 19s. Yeah.
I thought last season, we were talking about Ibe and Ojo, kind of who potentially had the best chance, and I thought immediately he's that kind of impact player who can do something, a bit of magic, and showed enough last season, I think, to suggest he has enough potential to get in regularly this season. I hope he does.
He's a big lad as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I really like him, and I feel it's the right thing Liverpool have done for 15 million quid. So Ojo, I would say, has the better chance.
Yeah, I would too. No doubt. I mean, maybe under a different manager. I just think Ojo's got more to his game. I think I've said this before. Ibe is an out-and-out winger, and that's what he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'd ever see Ibe, and I'm not knocking him, because there's a time and a place for an out-and-out winger. And I like an out-and-out winger, but just the way that you think the manager will set up, I just think Ojo's more suited.
I agree. Completely.
But saying that, Jordan Ibe, best of luck. I hope he has a great career down at Bournemouth. And I hope he proves a couple of people wrong, and then if he does prove a couple of people wrong, we can always buy him back.
Like me.
There you go. Sacco.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better for him, does
He's not had a great time of it, really, has he? He's missed the Euros, missed the Europa League final, and now going to miss the start of the season. I think it's not that bad. It's kind of 4 to 5 weeks.
He might just make the start of the season. Yeah.
I think likely maybe come the time we're playing at home again, he'll be there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to look at the options. The 4 guys that are there now: Matip, Lovren, and Sacco, and Gomez. I hope Gomez gets opportunities in the centre of the park. Klopp clearly rates him. I hope he's overcome that injury and is kind of able to pick up where he left off at the start of last season. Because I think
hopefully,
he's got real
I mean,
potential.
and it's not like and I like Albie, but it's not like we couldn't do with another option at left back if we don't sign Chilwell, So,
and there's games going on there. That's who blinks first again, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they'll get it done. You just get the impression. I'm of this attitude with a lot of them, with Zielinski, Tahoud, Chilwell. If Liverpool really wanted to get them done, they could get them done overnight.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that they're not panicking about it, I think they're fairly relaxed. I mean, I still think there's one in the bag that, I think there's a big move in the bag somewhere that no one knows anything about. And, it's a mad one, the transfer window, because everyone's going, why aren't Liverpool spending? And then when they overspend to get a deal done, the first thing people say is, I was spending this much for him.
Yeah, so, you can't win, can you?
But there's what I'm saying is, and I get knocked for knocking FST, but there's absolutely guaranteed there's money there. If they wanted to do something,
totally agree.
They could do it.
There definitely is money there.
They could do it.
And it'll be interesting to see how the next few weeks goes, because he's very keen to have everybody there on tour and all the rest of it. So
so are we. We're going.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean? Put him on a show. Balotelli. It's probably the most polite, mate, we don't want you I've ever read from Jürgen. Jürgen was speaking to a couple of the... he called a couple of the papers into Melwood yesterday, just for a brief, and then I think the message coming out of it was they're happy for Balotelli to train. He's training really well. They want to get him fit, but I think Klopp basically said that his age, he can't be. It's no good to anyone for him to be 4th or 5th choice striker.
No, it's going back to when he signed, I was somebody who thought it might work out.
I did. It's all right.
And now it's a case of how do Liverpool get rid of him? And, it says a lot when Graziano Pella's going to China for big money and no one's even mentioning Balotelli. And I think the truth of it is no one's there at the minute, even moderately interested.
No.
So this is a public way of saying, come and get him, please.
Yeah.
And
I think him not going to the Euros was basically killed any chance of a big move.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think the issue for Liverpool will be, it's all very well having a player you don't want to involve, but how do you get rid of him if no one wants him? So, that is the issue. Is it just a question of price?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you reckon they just end up going on loan again? Or?
I hope not. I think China is still an option if someone can persuade them that that he still has something to offer, that he still has talent there, which, you know, I think has gone past the point of calling him kind of mercurial now. Is just, you know, disappointing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I hope Liverpool find a way to get rid of him. I think it's going to be a real struggle. It could go right at the end of the window. Yeah,
no, it's a shame. I mean, talking about players who have been written off, Luis Alberto actually is or looking likely to get sometime tonight at Fleetwood, alongside possibly Coutinho and Grujic.
Yeah,
first chance for people to see him,
which is great. And Luis Alberto was bought, you know, a number of years ago with a big reputation, big hopes on his shoulders, and obviously hasn't had those opportunities. I think in truth, Liverpool would take £7 million for him right now, and you know, I could understand
even that much.
Yeah, I think let's see what he does tonight.
Yeah.
You know, it was a decent start at Tranmere, and obviously this isn't necessarily about results, but about Klopp seeing what he wants to see out there. So
there's ability in them, in
no question. But is there enough to, you know, force out the players that he's got to beat to get anyone in that?
Oh no, absolutely. I don't think his future's at Liverpool at all. But when the likes of Sevilla are sniffing around,
dead right. Yeah,
you know, and the pedigree he's got, where he's come from. You never know. He strikes me as the type of player that in about 4 or 5 years' time, when he's grown into himself and had the opportunity to develop, he'd be like, why did we let him go? But then he'd never develop at Liverpool because... I always think about Diarra.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's a good example. Yeah, and I think he will have to leave to get games, and, you know, we've seen it before, but, you know, we've seen it with Suso and players like that that promise so much but never got the chance to deliver. So we'll see. I mean, let's see what he does tonight.
Who was the new Messi that we signed? He was now playing. Ended up at Accrington last year. What's his name?
I think Balotelli and Pongola.
There was a Spanish lad who's now playing for Paul Dalglish for Ottawa Fury.
Okay.
Yeah, and his name will come to me as soon as we finish this video. Right, just to wrap up, Craig Bellamy, 37 today. Yeah. Yes.
That's his moment,
yes,
isn't it?
very much.
Yeah.
You like your golf, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was his kind of defining moment, I think, as a Liverpool player. But yeah, it was
that and Man City, I think, under Brendan.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah. I mean, a player with an awful lot of talent, and maybe we didn't see the very best of him in his career, but yeah, 37. I thought he was older than that.
I thought he was younger. I still remember him at Coventry when he was. Yeah. It just makes me feel old. All these players get cracking on and that. I mean, I saw a video of Steven Gerrard early this morning. I'm thinking, and he still looks far younger than me. I'm thinking, my hopes of making my debut for Liverpool are slowly ebbing away.
Below 50% now, isn't it? So
52,
okay,
53. And then talking about ghosts of the past.
Yeah.
Our mate Brendan.
Yeah, wasn't great, was it? Not embarrassing.
I like him, but.
Not embarrassing.
Doesn't do himself any favours, does he?
No, and I'm sure they'll turn it around second leg and maybe it'll all be forgotten, but...
That's not the point though, is it? You don't say that. You know what I mean? What Lincoln Red Imps?
You not heard of them?
I've actually been, my wife's cousin lives and works in Gibraltar, and I've actually been, it's like Wavertree Sports Field, where they played. Their average gate's 27 people. So,
not the best.
It's not the best start, and you just wish sometimes. And I know, you know, and I know what Rodgers is like, and he tries to keep the players on side and all that. But even if you were to play, you'd be expecting a bollocking for that, and you'd expect to be crucified. And when you don't, I don't see how. There's protecting your players, and there's, you know,
it's not how he would have seen it going.
And especially Celtic as well. They're not, you know, they're not shy on mincing the words up there either.
No, he'll get told, I think. But hey, listen, wish him well.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so that's it for today. Nice one. Thank you, Ben, for helping out. Dollars. Don't forget.
5 of them, man.
5 of them. Go to America, get your tickets. We've got some new adverts. The Coming to America advert is on social media. Give it a like. Give it a retweet. Just to do Neil's head in. That's us for today. Got a show. Got an amazing Midnight Caller coming out later today with Johnny Northcroft. Actually, keep your ears out for that. And we'll see you later in the week. Nice one.